I have a question for you. If you buy a brand new, let's say, pickup truck, and the first day you own it, the transmission goes out, or the first week, let's say, what happens is you never see that pickup as being a reliable piece of equipment. It is always a looked at as an inferior product. Now, I want to follow that through to a grain dryer. When you sell a new grain dryer, if the customer, if that dryer does not work properly the first year that it is installed, that dryer is going to be a problem the rest of the time that it is at that location. The customer will always see that dryer as an inferior product. So if you are looking to be in business for an extended period of time, you need to have that dryer work properly the first year. If you want that dryer to work properly the first year is based on the first time that dryer is run, put in auto, and operates. So if you want the customer to be happy for 10 years with your grain dryer, you need him to be happy the first year. If you want him to be happy the first year, it needs to work properly from the beginning. So going out to the farm, spending a day or two starting that dryer is a 10-year investment or longer. Depending how long that customer owns that dryer, that could be a 20-year investment. So when you sell a dryer, you need to figure you're going to start that dryer. Now, when I'm talking starting the dryer, I'm not talking a test fire. I'm not talking going out, turning the fans and heaters on, the unload on, yep, everything works, have a nice day. That is not commissioning a grain dryer. Commissioning a grain dryer is going out to the site, verifying everything works. You want to be on site when they have corn in the wet bin, and you're going to fill the dryer, you're going to dry corn, you're going to show them how the dryer operates. You are going to stay on site until the dryer is running in auto properly. And if your definition of running an auto properly is less than 3 hours in auto, that's not auto. That's not auto. Running an auto properly is running an auto for 6+ hours properly. So if you spend till late afternoon getting that dryer into auto, you're going to be there late into the night. If you have a 4,000 or 3,000 bushel hour dryer, that's going to take you 24 hours to get that dryer from filling it with corn until that thing is proven to be running in auto properly. So if you buy a new dryer, if you want to like that dryer for the next 15 years, make sure that dryer is started properly by an experienced person and the adjustments are made to make it work properly. It's the difference of hating a dryer for life or liking a dryer for life. Dealers, salespeople, when you're selling a dryer, I see endless salespeople tell the customers, you put the moisture into this dryer and it puts out the correct moisture. The only way for you to know the truth is if you spend hours on site running the dryer. You need to stay on site for 6 hours after that dryer is in auto to get a taste of what it is. It depends on the dryer. If it's a portable dryer, like a profile dryer, once that thing's running in auto for 3 hours, you're going to know what it's doing. But if you have a dryer that holds 3,000 bushel, you're going to need to watch that thing run in auto for 6+ hours before you know if the auto is working properly. You say, well, it did one pass. No, it's going to take more than one pass to see if the dryer is working properly. So I'm going to ask all salespeople, dealers, service guys, If you're selling new dryers, invest the time on site starting the grain dryer and operating the grain dryer. For, I'm going to say 2 passes of grain in auto minimum after the dryer is put in auto, and to find out if that dryer is working properly before you leave. I see people, very few people commission dryers when they sell them, which is not good. And very few people that do commission dryers actually stay on site for 2 passes of grain through the dryer to verify it's actually working right. That's not going to give you 100% view, but you're going to get a good idea. If it's not working at all, by the time the second pass of grain is through, it would actually be 3 passes total. Your first pass to get your dryer stabilized, and then 2 passes in auto. And if that thing isn't working properly, then you need to make adjustments. I have started dryers. I've started 3,000 bushel capacity continuous flow dryers where I was on site for 36 hours straight. Yes, I took 2-hour naps overnight and monitored the dryer while the owner went home and got a night's sleep. I stayed there monitoring the dryer because I didn't fully trust it dumping 2,500 bushel an hour in a bin in auto within the first 12 hours of putting it in auto. When you're dumping grain at a high speed into a grain bin, it needs to be working properly. So I think our industry of grain dryers would move forward faster and we would have higher quality equipment on the market if more people spent time in the field running grain dryers, not just making sure the burner fires and the fan runs, but running the grain dryer for 6 hours, maybe even 12 hours, and seeing how the dryer responds to the incoming moisture. And if that dryer doesn't respond properly and your answer is your incoming moisture changed, improvements are needed on the dryer. It doesn't work properly in auto. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and say no dryers in the industry work properly. I'm going to make a video on why they don't work properly and how to fix it. But I understand the physics of the dryer. I do not understand software and algorithms. There's people that are way smarter than me when it comes to algorithms. I only know how to work with them. I don't know how to write them. So I lay out the physics and somebody else will need to figure out the algorithm. So for today, if you're selling a grain dryer, if you're buying a grain dryer, starting that grain dryer, it needs to run properly. Because if it don't work properly, you're going to end up disliking it the whole life of the dryer. If it works properly, you're probably going to like it. So, salespeople, invest some time. It's an investment that lasts for 20 years, and it's worth your time. Thank you.